right, becoming great in 2025. So our plan is to go from good to great, okay? So sometimes maybe you guys think like, well, no, we already are great. We're good right now, but what we want to do is get to great. So that leads me to this book here, Good to Great. It's a great book, and this book is just based on research. It's not like subjective opinions. This is tons of research they did on these companies. They reviewed thousands and thousands of companies for over 50 years, and they came up with these best companies, and they researched them, and they try to find out what are the common characteristics of these great companies and what made them get from good to great. So I learned a lot from it, and there's a lot I learned, but these top strategies from the book is what I want to apply to our agency this year. So our top 3 strategies to become great in 2025. Anybody want to take a guess at some of these strategies?
Consistency?
Consistency, yeah, that's more of like a trait than a strategy. I think that is it is a strategy. We all have to be more consistent. And you're right. One of the things they talked about is how to be consistent. The top companies were super consistent, and they're consistent in a way that they didn't try to do new things. Like if something was working, they stuck with that. And the comparison companies or their competitors, a lot of times when things started going well, they started buying other businesses or they started doing other like products, and that's how they didn't get good. So the really good ones were actually consistent with their product that they offer, the main product they offer. So yeah, you're right. Consistency is in there. Training. Yep. Training is also part of discipline too, but training is something that, as you guys can see, we have Laura, we have Espedi, we have sales specialists now, support specialists. So that is something that we're really part of our top strategy. Yeah, let's take a look at these things that the book said, okay, that these were the top things that these companies did. So they confront the brutal facts, which we'll talk about in a little bit. They have a culture of discipline, and then they have level 5 leadership. So I want to go over these really quick. Confront the brutal facts, to me, that means, what do they do?
Say how it is.
They just say how it is. And how do you find out what it is?
Stats. Numbers.
The data. They made all their decisions based on data. Not because they felt like it or they liked this more than others. They really just based it on data. And that's something we're really going heavily into, which we'll get into. So let's look at the data and deal with it, okay? Face the facts and deal with them. Culture of discipline. They really focused, consistent, training. These are all things that relate to discipline. So all these companies were really disciplined in their actions. Didn't get distracted with like, oh, we should do other businesses or we should do this. They really, bless you. So we're going to focus more on our products that we offer, our main products that we offer, and our processes, and we're just going to focus on getting better instead of just trying to do new stuff. And level 5 leadership, this was one of my favorite part of the book here. All the great companies had level 5 leadership. So level 5 leadership, the way the book explained it is there's level 1 leadership is a highly capable individual. So this is somebody who probably doesn't call off, comes into work and writes, enough policies where it helps out the agency. They're a capable individual that does what they're supposed to do. Now level 2 is a contributing team member, meaning that they not only do what they're supposed to do, but is also a good teammate for others. They help others around them get better. Maybe they, and these have nothing to do with titles. They just maybe, if they have a question, people go to them. If they're, having a tough day, then they help them stay positive. So level 2 is a contributing team member. Level 3 is a competent manager. So that's somebody not only does these 2 things, but also makes the schedules and helps things keep organized and does things for the office, is a manager. And level 4 is effective leader. So all companies have a leader, so it's effective. But the best companies had a level 5 leader. And a lot of the research went into what are the difference between a level 4 and level 5. Being present, yep, that's important to be a leader. The book said the level 4 leaders were also present. It's not like, you're probably not a good leader if you're not present, if you're just like relying on everybody else to do the work and the leader wasn't there.
I think just looking out for every single person in the organization.
Looking out for every single person or organization, that's very close. Yeah, that's very close. Let's get into that. That's very close. Some of these characteristics that the level 5 leadership has was personal humility. That means that all the interviews they did with the level 5 leaders, none of them took credit for their success. They all said it was because of luck, the market, or a lot of times they said it's because of my team, the other leaders in our company. So they never took credit. And professional will, that means they never gave up. Until they were the best, they never gave up. No matter what type of challenges had. Some of these leaders had cancer. Some of these leaders had terrible things happen to their business, but they never gave up. So professional will. And this one was the most interesting to me, but this was the key characteristic that was different from a level 5 leader to a level 4 leader, is that they were ambitious for the company more than for themselves. So they put the company's best interests before theirs. So you might be thinking, like, why the hell would you do that? Well, we'll get into that a little bit more. Okay, top 3 strategies to become great. We're going to confront the brutal facts. That means we're going to look at data. Okay, right now, these reports are coming in from ESOF, from TCO. They're great data because I give her projects. I'm like, hey, can you let me know, compare Facebook and Google, which one has the lower CAC? And then within Google, I say, hey, which one's better, the forms or the calls? Because I'm spending money in all these different places, and in the old days or before or even right now, I'm actually just spending money and just not knowing what's happening. But now I know what the return on investment is. Like these leads, the closing ratio is this, and how much I pay, how much per policy. I have all this data, so now I'm going to be able to spend our ad spend a lot more smarter. So we're going to only be spending money on what's actually making money as far as lead source goes. What other data do you think could help our agency out?
Our production data?
Our production? Sorry?
Yeah, like our calls and stuff.
Yeah, per agent. Those data are very important. Like, hey, that's what the win-loss thing is about, but we can kind of easily see who's really putting the activity there. Closing ratio. Other things we're doing is retention. Taking a closer look at that, how to improve that. We're also looking at, maybe more on the customer service side, but for you guys too, we'll be sharing some data too, like what time of the week do we get the most quotes? Or how many missed calls do we get? Or how many customer service agents do we need? These are things that I used to just do it off feel, to be honest with you, but now we're really investing more on data, looking at data and making decisions off data. I think this year was really the year of the systems. We really built a lot of systems in place, which is great. But I think next year it's going to go to another level, which is looking at data and making decisions. All right, cultural discipline, that to me translates into sales training. Before I think we were like a basketball team, but we just didn't even practice. We just went to the games and started playing. We were just like, there's no plan. Yeah. We just gave you a jersey and said, let's get out there and let's do our best.
Look what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, look at everyone else is doing. Yeah, copy your teammates. Just look at them. Now it's really practice, which is in the form of role play. We're going to practice your left-hand layups 100 times. Now you go in the game, you're in a situation, you're like, oh, shoot, I was able to do it because we practiced it. So role play is going to be a huge factor in how we're going to get better. And then level 5 leadership, that to me means leadership development. So that means 2 things. One is making our existing leadership, including myself, better, and I'm invested in that. But existing leaders, we're going to develop them, and we're going to be better leaders for you guys. And also have more leadership too. So those are things that we're looking at doing. That's our strategy there. In a nutshell, those 3 things is how we're going to become great. But how can you become great? So for you guys, well, how would you guys use data?
To see where we lack and try to get better at it.
There you go. That's what data is. I think there's really no point in getting data if it doesn't change your behavior. Like I don't want to have people run these reports and then me not make any changes based on that. So for you guys can look at it and see where you guys lack. Do you need to quote more? Do you need to be on the phones more? These are things that's only there to help you guys. So look at your stats, okay? There's a great quote I heard years and years ago that I still remember is, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. So let's look at our numbers. That's one of the best things about this business, to be honest with you, to me, is that your compensation and your production is based on your numbers. There's tons of other jobs where people are like, hey, I'm doing a good job, right? And people are like, well, I don't like you, so it doesn't matter. I can't tell if you're doing a good job. Sorry, it's just more about politics. This business, it's not based on seniority. Your pay is not based on your seniority, okay, if you're a sales agent. It's not based on your gender. It's not based on your education level. It's not based on your political views. It's not based on anything besides your production. That's what makes it such a fun business to be in, because you really get paid off your merit of what you do. So I would just say, hey, look at your numbers, look at your stats, and just produce, because that's how you make money. I've seen a lot of pattern in this business, and one of the things I've been really, really noticing is that people who do really well in this business, A, they like to help people, like Enrique said, but B, they're also really good with numbers. Because if you think about it, insurance is numbers. How much the risk is, how much the coverage is, how much the price is. Like, there's so many numbers involved. So people who actually like numbers and looking at numbers do really well in this business. So I would recommend you guys to take a deeper look at your own numbers and see how you can improve them, because your pay is determined by it. All right, and then sales training. So this is just based on your feedback on your weekly wins. You guys have told us it's helping, so we're making a bigger commitment to doing this. So it's just as simple as, now let's apply it and commit to it. Let's build these habits. Okay, let's not just do it just to pass the stage. Just keep learning it and applying it. Just making a habit. Once it's a habit, you know the script inside and out. The only thing that's going to make a difference is your tonality. But first, you got to know what to say, and then you're going to work on how to say it. So we're just going to keep re-emphasizing it. We're going to have data off this too. Maybe you struggle with this part of the script. Maybe you struggle with this part of the script. And we're just going to get really hyper-focused. These are scorecards we're going to be sharing too. So we're going to use data and just really invest in sales training to make you guys better, increase your guys' closing ratio. And lastly, leadership development, how to become a better leader. So I think I talked about this in the past, but when you try to figure out how to become better at it, sometimes you think about, how do I become a bad leader, and then do the opposite. So what are some examples of how to become a bad leader?
Don't help anybody.
Don't help anybody, yep. So what's the opposite of that?
Help people.
Yeah,
Selfish.
help people. Selfish, that's a great way to be a bad leader. Like, imagine if I was selfish, right? This year that I had, I probably would have only kept like 3 people. and I would have been like, whoo, I'm making money, But that's not a good leader. You're not a leader because pretty soon you don't have anybody to lead. So, and then, SPD, what did you say?
Not care.
Not care. Okay, that's a great way to be a bad leader. So caring is what makes you a great leader. So leadership development, I just want to share with you guys the way the book explained it to me, and I agree with this so much, is a great leader is not ego-driven. They don't want the credit. It's like they could care less about the credit. They only care about the result. And when things go well, they always just pass that to their people. It's like, thanks to you guys. You guys are the reason. Or sometimes they just say it's just luck. They just don't want any credit when things go well. And what do you think they do when things go bad?
They take responsibility for it?
Yep, yeah. They take accountability. So they don't prioritize personal recognition, and they don't pass blame. They take the blame, and they always credit others. So it doesn't sound like a fun thing to do. Like, if everything's going well, it's like you don't get any credit, and when things go bad, it's like everything's your fault. So it's not the best situation, but I'll tell you guys a little bit more about it. And the great leader, I think this was the most interesting thing, is that they put the interests of the group they're leading ahead of their own. They're very ambitious. It's not like they're not ambitious. It's not like they don't care about their own success, but they care about the company's success more than their own. That's what a true leader is. And to me, that could sound like a crazy concept to you guys. Like, it's completely foreign. Like, what the hell? Like, why would I care about the group, about a company more than my own success? Like, that's just maybe hard to comprehend. And I get that because I remember when I was young and I was doing good at AAA, they asked me like, hey, do you want to become a sales manager? And I said, how much do they make? And I literally just based my decision off of that. I was like, no, why would I do that? Like, and that's the case with any organization. Top sales agents, they usually make more than sales managers. So I said, no way, like that doesn't make sense to me. And it took me probably 20 years and had my own company to finally realize why someone would want to become a manager. And I think it's a little bit easier also when I became a parent, and many of you guys who are parents here, maybe you guys get that. You put the interest of them before your own. Do you guys kind of relate to that? I mean, I would gladly take a bullet for my sons. I've lived to 44, like I've had a pretty good life so far, but my kids, they're 8 and 10, like they have so much more life to live. I think as parents, you guys really understand how this works, where you put their interest before yours. And that is something that is maybe difficult to comprehend, and I've seen so many people come and go through here, and I'll just tell you guys that it's very hard to find people like that. And that's why there's so little leaders. In fact, you find so many people that only care about themselves. Just right now, I'm being sued by one, and then we have other people just trying to take as every little penny they can before they quit. Things like that happen. But that's just the reality. It's like, that's just, I guess, how the world is. And that's why there's so little leaders here. But every once in a while, leaders emerge. Like Laura and Espady, where they're not becoming leaders, or they I kind of end up in this position, not because they're thinking like, how can I maximize my income this year? Sometimes as leaders, what happens is when you're in a leadership position, when things go bad, you're the first one to take the cut. Okay? So for that, I really want to thank them for having that leadership ability of saying, hey, it's not for me, it's for the rest of the team. And that's really something that, those are the people that build great companies. And I'm really thankful that we have Laura and Espady with us, because I just want to thank them in advance for making this place a great place, because how great the leadership is what makes the biggest difference of if a company does well or not. So let's get up for them too. A great leader, I just want to add this here, they don't look at it as a job. Like, I don't look at this as a job. This is not my job. I look at this as my responsibility. Like, I'm not doing this for myself, I'm doing this for you guys. And that's why I made financial sacrifices, because, for the well-being for the rest of the team. And, I have the responsibility to help you guys be able to feed your families. And that is something that I'm committed to. So, after I said everything about what a great leader does, now you guys might be thinking like, why the hell would you even want to become one? You make less money in the short term, you have less control over other people's actions, you can't take any credit, and you have to take accountability, so much more responsibility. So why is it even worth it to become a leader, would you guys say?
Everything else follows.
Everything else follows? What do you mean by that?
When you think about helping out the whole team, there's honestly more satisfaction than just the financial aspect. It's much bigger than just income.
There you go, yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of times people become leaders when they've had a taste of success and they've already had income. Then it's kind of like, well, now what? Well, I want to make an impact now. And some people, it's in their natural DNA where they want to help people. Like it's like a need they need to fill. Like they have that need to help people. So you kind of fill that need. So those are good things. What about financially though? Does it come?
Yeah, eventually.
Eventually, okay. It's a delayed gratification thing when you're a leader. It eventually, I don't want to sit here and pretend like, hey, leaders always have to sacrifice. We never get anything. Like, it just sucks to be a leader. Like, well, actually, if the company does better, they're the ones that actually benefit in the biggest way. Okay, if the place blows up, then the leaders blow up. In actually more of a different proportion maybe to, they take more risks, so things don't go well, they kind of take a hit first. But when things go well, they're going to be taken care of the most. That's how companies are, right? The leaders get paid the most in the long run if it goes well. So there is a little bit more inherent risk there, but the payoff is greater when you're a leader. And I think this is what Espedia was saying, you make a greater impact on others. Okay, yeah, it's great. And I don't want to, take anything away from sales, but you help somebody save money and get insurance. Okay, that's great. You help that person. But as managers, what we want to do is actually change your guys' life where you guys like, hey, thank you, I'm able to feed my family because of this. So the impact is greater of what action you're actually taking. So there is a little bit more maybe fulfillment in that. I definitely live off that. I definitely try my best to get that feeling. So there's impact is something that could make a difference on why you want to become a leader. The tricky part is, for me it's easy because, hey, I'm the owner. Obviously, if the company does well, then I'm going to get the benefits. Like that's pretty simple, right? But if you're a leader and a manager and your compensation is not based on like your production, then you guys actually may think like, well, but if I became a leader and I helped this agency make more money, what guarantee is there that the owner will take care of me? I'm getting a little cynical. This is how negative people think. That's why they're like, I don't want to help the company because they probably won't help me anyways. So I'm going to actually confront that. Okay. So if you're a manager and if you're a leader and you help the company do better and the company is doing better, what do you think the percentages is that they're going to be taken care of? Oh, let's just say here, yeah. That makes a difference, huh? Okay, thank you. Well, thank you for having trust in me. Yeah, there's probably are some places where it's not, there's no guarantee or the chances you're doing the math and you're like, even if I kick ass for this place, like they're probably not going to take care of me. They don't care. Thank you for saying that, but I would say that, yeah, I would take care of my staff or my managers before I would take care of myself first. So let's just say the chances are higher, okay? Now, what's the alternative? So if you say, hey, I don't care about this place, I don't want to be a manager, and I'm going to put in the bare minimum effort, what are the chances you'll do better? If the company's also doing bad too. Okay, so if the chances are zero, and then the chances of you being taken care of if you do a better job and help the whole team, then I think that's what, in a way, I want to give you guys confidence, is that if you help, and then I'm just not talking about just managers only, everybody, because a leader by definition is somebody who cares about the whole team, not just for themselves. So you don't have to have a title to be a leader. If you care more about this place and this place does better, the chances of you doing better is so much higher because you're comparing to zero. All right, so I just want to share with you guys that, some of the commitment level has been a little bit exposed recently. But, it's not my first rodeo. Even if people aren't committed to me or they, do stuff that, shows their true character, I'm just committed for you guys, 100%. Okay, I'm reading leadership books. I'm trying to get better as myself, and I'm also, the existing leaders I have, I'm investing in spending time with them, reading books and learning things so we could get better for you guys too. So we're going to look at data more than ever to make decisions. We're going to commit to sales training for you guys more than ever, and then we're going to develop leadership more for you guys, and hopefully have some new ones too. The reason I'm so into this is because our leadership determines the future of our agency. It was chapter 1 in that book. They looked at everything. They said, what is the number one thing that makes the biggest difference? And a company only goes as far as how good the leadership is. That was like the conclusion of their study. So we're only going to go as far as how good we become as leaders for you guys. So what we're going to do as management here is we're going to give credit to you guys if we do go. Okay, I want to give credit to you guys, and if things don't go well, we're going to look at the mirror and say, hey, what can we do better? And then we're going to, speaking for myself, we're going to care more about the company than myself. So, yeah, lastly, I just want to share with you guys, just imagine if we were all became leaders. If we all just cared about the place, how well this place would do, instead of having a bunch of people that didn't care. And as we all do better, we're all gonna do better. So how much money will we be making more if we all cared? If everyone became a leader? I get so excited just thinking about that. If everybody became a leader, how good this place will be. Because this was our worst financial year in the 17 years of our history of our agency. And we still had 7 of you guys making over 80,000. And 2 of you guys making over 100K. So if we did this in our worst year, just imagine how good things are going to be if we have more leaders, more people who care, and more committed to helping our agency as a whole, not just for themselves. So let's all become better leaders. Let's all become leaders for ourselves, because to be a leader, you don't need to have a title. You just simply have to care about the team. And by doing that, we're going to help out the agency. I'm committed to becoming better myself. I'm committed to helping our existing leaders get better, because the future of our agency really depends on us. All right, guys, so let's get back to these strategies here: data, sales training, leadership development. And with these things as our focus, we're going to become great in 2025. All right, thank you, guys. Let's get it.